Well, hello. Good morning, everybody. It's a whole new month. Fall's approaching. Time to get ready. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Courtesy Call, the podcast where I rant about politics, world affairs, and societal issues. I am your host, Scott Perry, and it is Sunday, September 5th, 2021, and it is 3 weeks until fall. Yeah, can you believe it? It is exactly 16 days, 14 hours, and 22 seconds until the official start of the fall season. And for many of us here in New England, it means the foliage is on its way. I know that some places north of here will be experiencing some changes in leaf color as soon as next week. Yeah, so buckle up and get ready for New Yorkers, Pennsylvanians, and people from other states outside New England, or as we call them, leafers, to come raid the New England area and block traffic for about a month and a half. So get ready for that. But you know, fall is one of my favorite seasons. It's one of my favorite of the 4 seasons we get here in New England. So I really can't wait. I can't wait, you know. I'm actually looking forward to it. I am. I'm actually looking forward to, walking downtown or at some park, drinking some pumpkin spice or apple spice beverages, enjoying the scenery, the leaves, take everything in. It's just a really nice deal, you know. I really enjoy it, and it's fall's approach is a very good feeling, the season of fall. So it's quite nice. It's quite nice. Really is. All right. Well, speaking of things changing, as of last Tuesday, the war in Afghanistan is officially over, as the last unit of troops were sent back here to the U.S. To go home and be with their families. And now, since the Afghan government withdrew and ran off from the country like a bunch of cowards, the Taliban has now taken over the country of Afghanistan and has a lot of work cut out for them as well. To be honest, it's a complete shit show down there. It is. We just left it, the way it was. We left weapons behind. We left people behind. We didn't really have a good pullout plan, and we pretty much gave the Taliban some ground. And it's just, if you've seen videos lately of what's going on down there, it's just everybody's running around like their heads are cut off or will be cut off, literally, as Taliban is threatening some of their citizens. But they're telling everyone that if you have a passport, you're free to go out. You're free to leave the country and go to wherever your country is, and to go back to the U.S. Most of them want to go back to the U.S. But all the rest are ordered to stay within Afghanistan or be encouraged to stay in Afghanistan. And it's, it's a complete massacre down there. The Taliban have some of our weapons, like I said, that we left behind. So great job to, the U.S., to us for giving them more tools to terrorize their citizens with, because we're America and we're not thinking things through lately. And like I said, there are also American citizens left behind in Afghanistan. There was some interpreters by the name of Sarah and Muhammad, and a few others that were left behind that did not know that the last flight left like hours before they were initially told. So when they heard that the last flight already left, they panicked. I believe some of them are hanging out in the embassy, the U.S. embassy down there, and looking to find their way back here, but they are terrified. And for those who don't know much about the Taliban, who haven't done much research or studying in school or on their free time, go and look it up. Go online, Google the Taliban, Google what they've known to do in the past and known their behavior. They're a bunch of terrorists. They're not a government. They're not a form of government. They're a bunch of terrorists that torture and like to do whatever it takes to gain control of the country. And if it means abusing their citizens, murdering their citizens, and doing inhumane things. They're willing to go whatever measures they need to go to make sure they remain in power and that things go their way. And their way is quite terrifying. So, but like I said, they did say, the Taliban did say that anyone who has a passport can leave. That's what they said, but there's no planes, I believe, in the Kabul airport. I believe that Kabul airport is completely shut down. And there's guards there preventing people from getting into the airport. They've bombed our troops. They've killed some of our troops because they want to prevent the U.S. from helping out before they left. So, and they're gaining control of everything. So that's not really going to help. President Biden's remarks is that he feels bad for the family. He sends his condolences to the families of the victims. He has said that he is going to seek out revenge and retribution for this. That won't go unnoticed, and that he's going to be that the U.S. will retaliate to this. But yet, he's just not really stating a plan on how. He's not really stating a plan on how he's going to do this. So I have no idea what his game plan is. I don't think any of us do. I know that he left in Air Force One helicopter to take off to Delaware to go spend Labor Day weekend with his family. So yeah, I'm wondering if he's going to arrive back into the White House on Tuesday with piles of work on his desk, or if he's just going to dodge the responsibilities. I'm not sure. This is not the first time that the U.S. has had a mission to complete something and then has failed because of negligence. So, we need to send, for me, if I was President Biden, if I was president of the United States, I'm sure I'd do a lot of things. I would do so many things to change this country around. And, I think the biggest one right now is I believe we need to send another flight over to Afghanistan and grab the Americans who were left behind, the interpreters and some of the soldiers who were left behind. Need to be rescued. And we don't need to wait months or years before doing it. We need to start doing it now. I know that the British government has already stated their opinion on the whole matter. They believe that they should go back and rescue those who were left behind. They know that we have, and they're kind of pissed off that we did, but they want to rescue their own as well. There's British soldiers and British citizens who are still stuck over in Afghanistan as well. And there's a high demand to go back and to grab those people. They have to. How can you just leave them there? What kind of leader are you? What kind of country are you to just have your, to first of all, leave your citizens behind in a very dangerous country like Afghanistan and just say, okay, you guys have to sort it out yourselves and figure it out yourselves. How awful is that? And how awful is it for us not to take responsibility right off the bat? And for us to be hesitating to send a unit back over. Yes, any mission that you're going to do is going to cost lives, and it's going to be risky. It could cost lives. Not that it's going to guarantee to cost lives. It's a big risk that it could cause lives. But that's the whole purpose of the military and defending our country. They're told many, many times while serving our country that the missions could be dangerous and you're here to make the ultimate sacrifice and to risk your life trying to save people and try to defend this country. So that is a disclaimer that should be no problem. Clearly understood. So the fact to send them over there and be like, oh, we just don't want to risk their lives. We don't want to risk any more Americans. But that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. They are military soldiers. It's what they're trained and built to do. So serve their purposes properly. Okay, have them serve do their job properly. Go over there and rescue our people. That's what their job description is. I support our troops fully. I support them 110%. But I think they definitely should be supported because they do their jobs. And they should do their jobs and go rescue our citizens, and bring them back over here to the U.S. So, of course, President Biden is facing some animosity from this premature pullout of the troops in Afghanistan. And his approval rating's gone down by over 40% because of it. Because A lot of us believe he should have done a better job. Yeah, he could have done a much better job. And for those who believe I was completely on the Biden train, and believe I was complete liberal, I'm not. Obviously. I'm making it quite clear that I do not support the president's decision and pulling out the troops the way he did. And I think he could do a much better job. Much better job. And to neglect it and then go visit his family is kind of inappropriate right now. I mean, I understand if he spent like a day with his family, that's fine. But I believe he's spending a whole weekend with his family when there's work to do. There's work that needs to be done. I understand there's work that's always needs to be done. But there's some that is defined as urgent, meaning it needs to be taken care of immediately. While you're enjoying drinks and food with your family and having a good time, having little gatherings with your family and such, there are Americans who are fighting for their lives and running from their lives from the gross, dominant, very messed up group called the Taliban. They're trying to run from them while you're enjoying your family gathering over in Delaware. So I have to agree with the disapproval right now. I have to agree with the ratings dropping, with his approval rating dropping. Because he's neglecting some of his responsibilities. He hasn't made it quite clear exactly what he's going to do. I mean, he's sent his condolences to the soldiers. He's attended, the arrival of their bodies or of the soldiers that were killed. So I mean, I commend him from that. But I am condemning him for not doing anything more when there's more that could be done. So, all right, well, we have a great episode for you guys this morning. We have a bunch of everything we are going to talk about that has occurred this past week, including, we got more updates on COVID-19 and vaccinations, some more from Florida, and we got more developments of what's going on around our country. But when we come back, speaking of Florida, I'll go into why Florida continues to be the worst state in the country and why your vax cards are irrelevant there. Also, like I said, updates on COVID-19, the vaccinations. So don't go anywhere here on Courtesy Call Podcast.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Subarus are made for winter with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, so you can help your friend when they break down in the middle of nowhere. Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand. That's a Subaru.
This Bud Light Seltzer lemonade is packed with lemonade flavor.
Yeah, it even has more flavor than my grandma's lemonade.
She still lives here, right?
Yeah, it even has more flavor than grandma's lemonade.
Oh, no.
Guess her hearing is better than we thought.
New Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade. Packed with more flavor than Grandma's lemonade.
Every morning, I thought I had to make a choice. Do I use a toothpaste that whitens my teeth or one that's good for my teeth? Now I don't have to choose. My dentist told me about Crest Whitening Therapy, so I tried it.
From Crest 3D White comes whitening therapy. It's our best whitening technology. Plus, it has a fortifying formula to protect your enamel.
Now I get a whiter smile and healthy teeth all in one.
The 3D White collection from Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Good morning, Mr. Sun.
Good morning, Blair.
I'm gonna grow big and strong. Yes, you are.
I'm gonna get this place all clean.
I'll give you a hand. And I'm gonna put Lisa on crutches. Wait, what?
Says she's gonna need crutches. She fell pretty hard. You might want to clean that up, girl. Excuse us.
When owning a small business gets real, Progressive helps protect what you built with customizable coverage.
And I'm gonna...
Donnie, no.
Oh.
Morning. Can I have a coffee, please?
We can do better than that. How about an acorn spiced latte?
No, thanks.
What about a nitro charcoal brew with dry ice?
Oh, no.
The charcoal purifies the soul.
Just a regular coffee is fine. Thank you.
Okay. Let's talk milks. We got okra milk, we have sloth milk, and then we have fresh unicorn milk. Only $12 extra. Isn't that right, Caliber?
Whoa. I'll just do half and half. And my coffee?
Okay, but first, Wmur.
Oh.
Ta-da!
Okay, you know what? This is ridiculous. I just want a coffee. I'm sorry.
Why does everyone leave us?
Oh, just one.
Jake from State Farm, it's the least I can do. You really did me a solid with that, Maya markdown on my insurance.
Here's the deal, Maya. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right.
No, really, there are no markdowns, just great rates.
Pull around back in 20 minutes. I'll hook you up with the good parts.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back, everyone, to Courtesy Call Podcast here on IPMNation.com. For those who are just joining us, before the break, I talked about the whole issue in Afghanistan and what are the results of it as of this past week and what our president has been doing about it. And it hasn't been that much. As many people are very upset at our current president. So, if you have any questions or comments about anything that has been discussed on this episode or previous episodes, feel free to reach out to us on both our Facebook and Twitter, which our Facebook is facebook.com/Courtesy Call Podcast, and our Twitter is @Courtesy Call for you. That's the @ Courtesy Call, the number 4, and an uppercase letter U. And just let me know what you think. Ask any questions you would like. I'll gather them up this following week and address them on the following episode, which would be next episode will be episode 31, which would be next Sunday, September 12th. So, all right. So, for those who have listened to previous episodes, know what's next. This is where I plug local businesses who have been affected by the pandemic, who didn't have an ad available to make it through the rotation during the commercial break. And I verbally promote them and give them a plug. So that way I would obviously do my due diligence and support. But also I'm in hopes that some of you listeners will go visit some of these businesses and give them some business. So, and help them out as they have suffered through the pandemic all of last year and part of this year. So, without further ado, here we go. Let's give them a plug, shall we? Moe's Italian Sandwiches, making the original since 1959 with locations all over the Granite State, including one in Dover, one in Portsmouth, and one here in Concord, New Hampshire. D Designs. For those who are looking to get artwork done for either their website or business logo, feel free to contact Danielle Festa-Keefe at dgraphicsnh.com. That is dgraphicsnh.com. Danielle Festa-Keefe is not only a wonderful graphic art designer, she's also an amazing, talented painter. And she will like you to see her great artwork, as you can do that from the comfort of your own home, thanks to her virtual reality art gallery portal. What this is a portal where you can log on to. You know, you have to set up an account, fill all the applications like most of these sites and portals do. And once you got your credentials and you're signed in, you can freely walk through this virtual reality gallery. It's got these rooms, multiple rooms, and it has her artwork that she has done and has uploaded into the portal. And so you can actually, from the comfort of your own home, see work that she has done by her hand, by the paintbrush and all this wonderful talent that she has. You can experience it in this VR program. So there's a link, I believe, on her Facebook page, which is you can go on Danielle Festa-Keefe's Facebook page, or you can go on dgraphics.com. You can go search maybe other resources, but I believe those are the two that you're going to find the link on. Click the link and fill out the application, and then you'd be well on your way. But that is Danielle Festa-Keefe, and you can reach her at dgraphicsnh.com. Crawlspace Audio. For those who are looking to do any audio projects, such as podcasts, or you're a musician looking to record your work, feel free to reach out to Dave Swillem at 603-275-2020. That's 603-275-2020. The Cake Fairy Bakery, located at 110 Old Londonderry Turnpike Road in Hooksett, New Hampshire. They have wonderful baked goods such as pies, cakes, cupcakes, dessert logs, cannolis, etc., etc. But what they're best known for is their eclairs. The eclairs are amazing. They're good in size. Their cream inside is very decadent, very good, very rich, but not too sweet. It's perfect custard. On top, they have wonderful, decadent fudge cream that is all, made from scratch right in their bakery kitchen, right on site. And it's definitely a good amount. Definitely will make you feel like you can appreciate cannolis a lot more. Absolutely. They're amazing. So that is the Cake Fairy Bakery, located at 110 Old Londonderry Turnpike Road in Hooksett, New Hampshire. Speaking of bakeries, Clem's Bakery, located at 29 Indian Rock Road in Windham, New Hampshire. They also serve wonderful baked goods, such as pies, cakes, cannolis, dessert logs, eclairs, and other bakery novelties. But what they're best known for is their donuts. For those who love donuts, will love this place. They have all the traditional kinds, anywhere from honey glaze, old-fashioned, chocolate cake, strawberry frosted, chocolate frosted, jelly-filled, etc., etc. But their best kind of donuts, in my opinion, is both their vanilla and chocolate cream-filled. So they have a yeast shell, a nice, soft, thick donut. It's cut in half, and one of them has vanilla cream in it. The other one has chocolate cream in it. And they're just amazing. They're baked fresh every day. They're nice and soft, exactly what you would want from a donut. And they're just pretty great. So do yourself a favor and go check out Clem's Bakery. That is KLEMMS Bakery, located at 29 Indian Rock Road in Windham, New Hampshire. All right. So took care of the businesses. Go visit them, go help them out, and help them during these difficult times to be able to be funded so they can continue to provide great services and great goods to the community, and help those who are impacted by the virus. So, anyway, so Florida, the state of Florida, is the worst state in the United States, in my opinion. Okay? For many reasons. Mostly on their handling of the pandemic since the beginning. And how they're going about it today is just complete embarrassment, complete disrespect. They've done anything from allow social gatherings during a time where we're supposed to be shut down, promoting parties, yelling at the president for enforcing safety guidelines, and now they are, I can't believe this is coming up. They are fining businesses $5,000 who ask anyone for their Vax cards. Yeah. To any businesses in the awful state of Florida who asked to see proof of vaccination from a customer or client will be fined $5,000. And you can guess one of the political morons who's backing this bill up, of course, one of the biggest morons in Florida. No, I'm not talking about Matt Gaetz. Talking about Mr. Ron DeSantis. Yes, he's been on my target list lately, and he has supported this bill and backing it up entirely. Now, this is the information I got off from local news website, Local News 4 Jacksonville website, who is promotes pretty much publishes any material that has to do with any affairs throughout the state of Florida. And according to the article that they published yesterday, it says this, last Friday. It says this. It says Governor Ron DeSantis on Friday defended his decision to start issuing $5,000 fines to businesses, schools, and government agencies that require people to show proof of a COVID-19 vaccination, saying he doesn't want to create two classes of citizens. Well, so it's not just businesses. So it's also schools as well and other government agencies. So he's attacking his own kind of people, really. And then schools, really? So yeah, if you're a student, you can't be asked to see your vaccination proof. Whether you're below the age of 18 or you're older than the age of 18. If any school out there requires their students or asks their students in the state of Florida, ask their students to see proof of vaccination, you'll be fined $5,000. That's just ridiculous. DeSantis signed a bill earlier this year that banned vaccine passports and fines that will start on the 16th of this month if people are asked to show proof of vaccine. The article also states that DeSantis said his job as governor is to protect individual freedom, not to protect corporate freedom. Let me decipher that in my own words. What I think DeSantis is trying to say here, what he's really trying to get out there is he is governor and his interest is to protect his own agenda and not the health and safety of his citizens. I think that's what he's really trying to say at this point. Because, I mean, why would you have to go these measures? Why? It says a quote here in the article that he is one, I'm vaccinated, am offended that someone would make me show something just to go to a restaurant or just to live life. I guess that's what he said during a news conference in Pensacola. He said his view is we got to protect people's ability to live their lives. I don't want a biomedical security state in which are constantly having to do this just to be able to live everyday life. Again, all I'm getting out of it is that I want to protect my own agenda, and I could care less about people's safety, really. That's what I'm getting out of it. However, I will say this. My opinion of this whole issue is, I believe that, first of all, the virus, all right, so the shot is a shot. It's not a vaccine, okay? It's a shot. It suppresses the virus. It doesn't cure it at all. And you still can pass it on. So, from the beginning, I'm thinking, okay, to ask to see, whether it's in Florida or any state in the United States or anywhere, why does it matter if you see someone's vax card or not? Why should people have to prove that they've been fully vaccinated? Is it to look out for their own health and own safety? I get it, probably. But like I've said, the vaccine it's not really a vaccine. It's a shot. It suppresses the virus. It doesn't cure it, and you still can pass it on. So why would it matter? Like I said, the only thing that makes sense is to make sure that the vaccinated person is safe. And when they catch it, that to make sure that, it doesn't happen in their establishment. I don't know. I mean, that's very thoughtful of them. However, I feel that, if you still could pass it on, you still could pass it on. Like if I see someone's card and it says they've been fully vaccinated, I admit them into my establishment, and I do that to like 15, 20 other people who have been fully vaccinated or allowed to come into my establishment, and then they all get COVID, they're all gonna suffer low to moderate symptoms at the most. I get that, but it's like, let's say if you have 10 people who are fully vaccinated in a room, and then the other 10 people in that room are not fully vaccinated. It doesn't really do anything about the business, except for people who are not vaccinated will still catch the virus regardless, but they will suffer very, very severe symptoms. Usually, that's the case if they're not fully vaccinated. So it's like everybody's going to get the virus. Everybody's going to get it. And, whether it's in your establishment or not, I mean, everybody's going to get it. And if you have half the people who are vaccinated and half people who are not fully vaccinated are all going to get it. It's just half the group's going to suffer severe symptoms, the other half is not. So it's only looking out for their own well-being. I'm talking about the people who've been vaxxed and the customers and students take, on their side, on their end. It's about making sure that they are safe. It has nothing to do with ruining the businesses or the school. I mean, it doesn't really hurt the school or the businesses if people are catching COVID, because they're going to catch COVID anyway. It's like whether they suffer severe or moderate symptoms is totally on the customer, and it should be on the person. It should be on the individual. That's what I'm saying, is that I don't think many businesses need to freak out whether someone's vaccinated, fully vaccinated or not, because we're all going to catch COVID. It's their best interest to get fully vaccinated so they don't suffer severe symptoms. So, on the other hand, though, on this issue, on the other hand, a $5,000 fine seems a bit much. To want to find some businesses who require it. I mean, I do believe there should be some freedom within these businesses. I mean, meaning businesses should have the freedom to choose if they require it or not. And I think that's the whole bottom line, is that, businesses should be up to, should think, first of all, that, why are they requiring those who are fully vaccinated to be in, their establishment? Only fully vaccinated people. It doesn't really matter either way. But, I mean, they should have the freedom to choose whether they require it or not. But I feel that this whole charade is a part of we don't care about COVID movement that the state of Florida has been in pretty much since the beginning of the whole pandemic. And it's pretty messed up that their government officials just don't give a damn. It's very sad. It really is. So I'm looking 50-50 on this one. 50%, okay, I kind of agree. Okay, yeah, it's a little ridiculous that some businesses would require it because people are going to catch COVID no matter what. But it seems ridiculous that he's going to tack on a $5,000 fine because of it. So, all right. Well, speaking of COVID-19 and the vaccines or vaccinations, this is the time where I give you listeners the current updates on the cases of COVID-19 and the current status of the vaccinations. So these numbers are usually pulled out a day in advance. So these numbers are from yesterday, which was Saturday, September 4th, 2021. And the numbers of cases are as follows. The total number of cases here in the United States is 39,894,230 total cases, with sadly and very unfortunate 647,361 total deaths. Very sad, very unfortunate. Throughout the globe, we got 219,456,675 total cases worldwide, with sadly and very unfortunate 4,547,782 total deaths. Very sad and very unfortunate. Here in the Granite State, we have a total of 108,713 total cases, with very sad and very unfortunate 1,426 total deaths. Very, very sad, very unfortunate. So as I've said before in previous episodes, that the numbers are going to go up. They are going to go up because anyone can catch COVID. That's the bottom line right there. That's the deal right there. Anybody can catch COVID, whether you're vaccinated or not. When you look at these numbers rise, you have to think, how many of these people are fully vaccinated versus those who are not? That's the real thing you should be worried about. Because, again, if you're fully vaccinated, you'll suffer moderate to, low to moderate symptoms at the very, very most. If you're not fully vaccinated, you get the full shabam, the full severe effects and severe symptoms from the virus when you catch it. So it's all about whether you're vaccinated or not. So when you see the cases rise, they're going to rise. They're going to increase because people are mingling. They're being part of social events, social gatherings, and other deals, as the CDC had permitted and said it was good to do. Once you're fully vaccinated, you should be allowed to do these things. You should be able to do these things. And people are. So that's why the cases are going up, because people are mingling, congregating, socializing, getting together, participating in events and such. And that's why the numbers are increasing. But again, you should be asking yourselves, how many of these people are fully vaccinated versus those who are not? All right, so speaking of vaccinated, people are vaccinated, let's go into the updates on the vaccines or the vaccinations. How many people have been vaccinated, or how many doses have been given versus those who have been fully vaccinated. All right. So, again, these numbers are pulled up from yesterday, which was Saturday, September 4th, 2021. So here we go. Here in the United States, it's been a total of 373,516,809 total doses have been given. Again, that's 373,516,809 total doses have been given. Out of that number, 175,538,025 people have been fully vaccinated. Again, 175,538,025 people have been fully vaccinated here in the United States out of the 373,516,809 total doses given, which tells me that, that gives a percentage. It was like 53.3% of the U.S. population, roughly around there, has been fully vaccinated. So it's roughly about half who still need to get their second dose. And I've said, if you got your first dose, it makes sense to go for your second. Why wouldn't you? It just makes sense. You're halfway there. Just finish it by getting the second. Do it up. Be fully vaxxed. And, sure, you'll be sick for 2 or 3 days, but it won't be that bad. It won't be that bad. It's very mild, very moderate is what I'm understanding. Very mild. So, very mild, moderate, and low. So, just get yourself that second half. Just do it. And make those numbers increase. The numbers have already increased. The percentage has increased a bit, which I'm proud. And I'm happy that it has. But more people need to follow suit. So I'm hoping in the next 2 weeks, next 2 or 3 weeks, that we see the numbers make a major jump from 53 and jump up to maybe in the 60s or 70s. That'll be fantastic. I'll be very happy about that. And I'm sure a lot of other people would be too. So, and whatnot. Worldwide. So around the globe, you're looking at, for total doses given, have been 5,440,452,222 doses have been administered worldwide. Again, that's 5,440,452,222 total doses have been given around the globe, around the world. With out of that number, 2,165,222,514 people have been fully vaccinated here. Actually, not here in the U.S., around the world. I see a trend here. I see a correlation, a trend here, which is a little funny, but yes. So if you look at that number, 5,440,552,222, 2,165,222,514 people have been fully vaccinated. That gives a very low percentage. It's like 27.8% of the world's population have been fully vaccinated. I believe there's 7 or 8 billion people around the world. And, to only have a little over 2 billion fully vaccinated, that's it's a little sad. The numbers need to jump up. They need to jump up a lot more. Again, if you had your first dose, you received your first dose, it makes sense to get your second dose. It just makes so much sense. Finish the other half, cap it off, be fully vaccinated, and be safe. So, here in the state of New Hampshire, here in the Granite State, we're looking at a total of 1,735,839 total doses have been administered, have been given, with a total of, out of the 1,735,839 total doses, 816,787 people have been fully vaccinated, are fully vaccinated. So that jumps the percentage to 60.1%. So we're a little over that 60%, which I'm happy. Fantastic. Now, if we can jump that up to 70 or 80, that'll be even better. Again, for people here in the state of New Hampshire, if you received your first dose, get your second dose. It just makes much more sense. Be fully vaccinated, be able to go and do fun things and feel good that you're safe and to enjoy a lot of things out there. So it just makes so much sense. So there are your numbers. Now, in news about the vaccines, okay, I did see an article this past week that where Dr. Fauci, the lead scientist in infectious diseases, stated that people may need to get a third shot to be actually considered fully vaccinated. And I'm thinking it's because, they have seen, because we have numbers right now where they can actually get accurate data. We are at a percentage, even though the percentage is not 100% sufficient enough. We still have enough people who have been fully vaccinated and enough numbers out there to where we can get a better idea of how effective the vaccines are, learn more about the virus, and be able to figure out more of a solution. And the solution is that there may need to be 3 shots. And I know people are not feeling too comfortable with that. People are like, well, I had to stand 2 shots, and that was uncomfortable enough. Now you're telling me I have to worry about a third shot? I would wait and see. I mean, it's still very fresh news. It's a theory right now. It will be tested on and will be worked out within the months to come, within, by next year, I would say. And, I think that as they, test everything out, they're going to look to do trials and look to really see if, in fact, you need a third shot. And if we do need a third shot, go and get it. Go and get the third shot. Especially if it's been tested and been proven that it works 100%. Get the third shot. And I'm hoping that before they do bring it out to the public, they'd be a little more patient with the third one than they did with the other 2. Because the other 2, I feel, were a little bit rushed. I say it wasn't, but obviously we're seeing effects that obviously it was. There could have been more trials held before, you let the rest of us become your guinea pigs. But I would wait, I would wait a little bit and have them, take a little bit longer and find more people willing to do trial runs that are safe than, just throwing it out into the public. I understand they want to get this thing under control before it becomes more of an issue. I understand we got more variants out there and we got a couple harsh variants out there, but we have vaccines, or we have the shots that can withstand it and that can handle it, and that will make it so we can tolerate it and handle it if we were to catch these variants. So I say get the shots, especially if they're 100% safe. Read more about this third shot possibility, and keep your eyes and ears peeled for when it gets released and where it's required, if it's required. So, again, the vaccines do not cure COVID. It just suppresses the symptoms. And so if you get COVID, if you get the virus, you will suffer low to moderate symptoms at the very most if you're fully vaccinated. If you're not fully vaccinated, you'll suffer the full effect. It could suffer severe symptoms, severe harsh symptoms if you were to get the virus. So protect yourself, keep yourself safe. I would stop calling it a vaccine, just call it a shot. People wearing masks, okay, go ahead and do what you need to do. But people who are fully vaccinated still can transmit it and still can catch it. It's just they would suffer low to moderate symptoms. So, making that clear. Just want to make that clear. All right. So we are going to take another commercial break. When we come back, it will be the Headhunt segment and 2 societal topics of my choice. Still more to come here on Courtesy Call.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Coming in to get a deal that includes existing customers. He's probably 5'8", but we'll give him an even 6 foot. It's this guy!
Wait. Did I just hear existing customers can get a deal?
Yep, at AT&T, new and existing customers get our best deal on all smartphones.
That's pretty great. You think I look 6 foot?
I sure do. Kind of.
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals on all smartphones. Get up to $800 off our latest 5G smartphones.
Oh my, with Chase Freedom Unlimited, I earn all this cash back? Oh, I gotta tell everyone. Hey Rita, you can earn 3% on dining, including takeout.
Bon appetit.
Hey Kim, you earn 5% on travel purchase through Chase.
Way ahead of you.
Hey Neil, you can earn 3% at drugstores.
Buddy, I'm right here. Why are you yelling?
Because that's what I do. You're always earning with 5% cash back on travel purchase through Chase. 3% at drugstores, 3% on dining, including takeout, and 1.5% on everything else you buy. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip-hop group tag team to help you plan dessert?
Fresh vanilla, rocky road, chocolate, peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Building a better bank starts with looking at something old and saying, really? So Capital One is building something completely new. Capital One Cafes. Inviting places with people here to help you, not sell you. And savings and checking accounts with no fees or minimums, because that's how it should be. You can open one from right here or anywhere in 5 minutes. Seriously, 5 minutes. This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
The greatest stories don't have to end.
If we do this, we're gonna do it our own way.
They can expand, evolve, connect each generation to the next. The stories continue. Only on Disney Plus.
Welcome back, everyone, to Courtesy Call Podcast here on IPMNation.com. For those who were just joining us before the break, I went into, the whole new bill, the new law in Florida with the $5,000 fine for those businesses, schools, and government agencies who ask for proof of vaccination from their customers, students, or clients. And express my feelings towards that and whatnot. I also gave you the latest numbers on COVID-19, on number of cases and the number of vaccinations, and my thoughts on that, and gave some words of wisdom based on that information. So, if there's any questions or comments that you have about anything that's been discussed on this episode or on previous episodes, feel free to reach out on both our Facebook and Twitter pages, which is Facebook.com/Courtesy Call Podcast. And our Twitter is @CourtesyCall4U. That's @ Courtesy Call, the number 4, and uppercase letter U. So, hope you guys are enjoying your weekend, your long weekend, as it is Labor Day weekend. And I hope whatever you have planned consists of you going outside, as it is beautiful out. The weather is gorgeous and very convenient for this time, for this end of the summer celebration, I guess you could say. Summer is at its end peak. Fall will be here, like I said, in 3 weeks. So I hope you guys are going to go out and have some fun. I know for me, I think later on today, my folks and I are going to be going to Canny Bee Lake Park. For those who do not know what Canny Bee Lake Park is, it's pretty much a local theme park here in the state of New Hampshire. It's in the town of Salem. It's been around for over 100 years, I believe, for a very long time, ever since I was a little kid and since my mom was a little kid and my grandparents, I believe. So it's definitely a tradition here in the state of New Hampshire. It's definitely a treasure and a very fantastic pastime. They have all sorts of roller coasters and rides and things and all sorts of entertainment you can enjoy. So I haven't been there in years, so it'll be nice to go back and finally check out and see what they've done to the place. I also enjoy the boat ride around Canny Bee Lake. So we'll be doing that later on today. And then tomorrow we'll be going to the beach, as we normally do. For those who've listened to previous episodes know that my folks and I love going to the beach. The beach is one of our favorite spots. And tomorrow may be one of the last few times we'll have at the beach for the rest of this year. So we're going to probably check out the scenery, probably go for a dip, just chill on the beach, right on the sand. And then, or on our chairs. And then after that, probably head to our favorite seafood place, which is PD Summertime Seafood, located in Rye, New Hampshire. So those are my Labor Day weekend plans. And, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. Wherever you go, make sure that you are following health and safety guidelines and protocols, and make sure that you be respectful of one another. So, which is very important. Very important. So, all right. Well, it is time for the Headhunt segment. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with what the Headhunt segment is, this is a part in the show where I go on social media outlets such as Facebook and Twitter, mainly Facebook, and look up articles that other sources have posted and see if there are any questions or comments that have been posted underneath these articles that I feel lack some substance or where someone has been misled. It could use my 2 cents worth. Or if there's a question that has been neglected that hasn't been addressed or hasn't been answered, so I'll answer it to best of my ability. So without further ado, here's the first one. The first one is off from CNN's Facebook page. Now, keep in mind, CNN has always been one of my trusted sources. I always rely on them. They're the most trusted, in my opinion. And they posted an article yesterday morning, that had to pertain to traveling in an airplane. It has to do with flight attendants. And the article reads, flight attendants are exhausted physically and emotionally as they navigate not only the fear of catching COVID-19, but also the recent uptick in disruptive passengers. I come in expecting to have a passenger that could potentially get violent, says one flight attendant. Dread at 30,000 feet inside the increasingly violent world of U.S. flight attendants. So yes, I mean, people are getting frustrated with this whole COVID protocols and the guidelines, and people do not like having guidelines be enforced while they travel. Well, I say that's too fucking bad. Pardon my French. That's too bad. You're going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to, respect other businesses' requests. I explained earlier that I find it kind of weird that they require vaccination proof because it doesn't matter either way. People are going to catch it one way or another. It's all about whether that individual is going to suffer low to moderate symptoms or severe symptoms. So that's where it boils down to. But there are people who are acting unaccordingly on airplanes. People are starting to be rude to the flight attendants, be violent towards them, be aggressive towards them. And it's just uncalled for. You need to relax, understand that they're workers. They're only enforcing what their bosses and the corporate of their airline has put in place. So, it's not the flight attendants who are making up these rules or coming up with these bills or these laws. It is the corporate of their airline. So you need to respect the fact that these flight attendants are just doing their job. There's no need to act aggressive or violent towards them. Act respectful, please. Be respectful. And you're taking a flight. Some of them are doing it for business, and some are doing it for vacation, luxury travel. You want to enjoy your trip. You don't want to ruin it by being a douche, as they would say, to a worker of the airline and get yourself removed from the airline. I think I think some of us are taking this for granted. I think we're taking advantage of the airline. I think that we're being a little unreasonable, with our actions. These people make sure that you have everything you need, including food, your drinks, make sure you have a pillow, making sure everything works. Be respectful and be kind to them. They work hard, they work endless hours, and they are exhausted just as much as you are. So please be respectful. You want them to respect you, you respect them. So, underneath this article, a woman by the name of Gail commented that, how about hearing more about the nurses that have been in hospitals for a week straight? They are burned out, and so I have no time for the poor flight attendants. Like I said, says this woman, Gail. Now, I say to Gail, okay, any really offset chance that she's listening to this episode. Everybody's suffering from it. Everybody. Flight attendants, doctors, nurses, some people work in banks, some people who work in the science development centers, people who are working in schools. I mean, teachers aides, are suffering from it. People in residential areas who work in old folks' homes, retirement homes, and assisted living facilities. They are all suffering. Everybody's suffering from this. Okay. It's not just one particular person. I agree. With the nurses have been in hospitals for a long time, or haven't been able to go home for a while because of this whole thing. And they're irritable, and they're bitter, and I can understand. But the staffing is low because a lot of nurses are not mature enough to handle it, and I'll get into a segment on maturity later, hint, hint, on the societal topics, but maturity needs to be in place. People need to be mature enough to understand what's going on and what's the gravity of their decisions. The gravity of their decisions and how it impacts on other people. This goes for both the customers, patients, clients, nurses, students, whatever, versus those who work at the places, those workers. For workers, you need to be understanding of one another, and you need to understand that everybody is going through this. So, the worst thing to do is to leave your shift, leave work, to be tough and endure it. And if you do leave work, just note that you're being selfish because you're leaving more work for your other coworkers. Because when you leave, all that responsibility gets pushed on to someone else. And that coworker that you respected so much or liked so much could hate you because you quitting, all your responsibilities get put on their shoulders. And that adds more weight, and that person leaves, and that adds more weight on another person's shoulders, and they leave, and before you know it, you got no business because you don't have workers, because they're all leaving because there's so much work that's being put on their shoulders. The best thing is to get yourself vaccinated, get back to work. Stop acting like a child, stop acting like a baby, get back to work, and grow the F up. Okay? That's what we need to do. That's the answers. You get nothing but answers and truth on Courtesy Call, and that's all you're going to get from me. So, I always speak my mind. So, all right. So here's our second article on the segment. It's on MSNBC's Facebook page, which is another news station whose sources I trust and I believe give very accurate and truthful information. and give more factual information than others and such. But this is off from MSNBC's Facebook page. It was posted yesterday morning, and it's an article about something we haven't talked about in a while. It's defund the police. What? Article reads, defund the police is far from dead, or far from over. But if it wants to thrive, there are probably some serious questions that the movement should reckon with. And it says on the tab, it says on the title, it says opinion. Has defund the police collapsed? Has it gone away? I don't think it has. I hear more people talking about it. I still hear people talking about it today, saying that we should get rid of police. We should get rid of law enforcement. Law enforcement doesn't do their job. Get rid of them. Don't fund them. Defund them. You know, and I've shared my opinion on this before in previous episodes. And I believe, and I'll share it again. I'll say it again. I think it's absolutely stupid to promote to defund the police. Yes, there have been police officers who have done things that have been, way out of line, completely out of line. I agree. And they were dealt with. These police officers were dealt with. Some of them were actually acquitted, some of them I disagree with, but some of those charges that were dropped against some police officers, I agree with, because there were some incidences that they were being accused of that actually they did the right thing. They did the right thing and shouldn't have been held accountable at all, because they did their due diligence. But there are some police officers who, stepped out of the line and they were dealt with. They were dealt with. But I don't think we need to take, police officers as a group and defund the whole entire, all the police across the United States. Because not every police officer is bad. And not every cop and officer is bad. And it would be absolutely stupid because you would have no agency or group to take care or to make sure that you're safe. Okay? You can think that you are the James Bond or the Ethan Hunt of your community or whatnot, and you have all these skills with, firearms and such, and you can protect yourself and protect your own family. But the reality is, you don't. You don't. Not a lot of you do. A lot of you probably went to the military and got some training, got some knowledge on how to fire off some firearms, and how to shoot correctly and properly and protect yourselves and protect your family. And a lot of you probably go to the shooting range every week or multiple times a week and learn stuff on YouTube videos or whatnot. But thing is, though, that's still not going to be good enough when you have a gang of people coming at you. And to make sure these people are held accountable. And you're not the law. And you're not fully educated in the law. So I don't know what credibility some of you people have who are chanting defund the police, have. You have almost zero credibility. And think about how much massacre and violence and crime would sprawl out knowing that there's no police out there to help you and to assist the situation and get the situation under control. I mean, it'll be crazy. It'll be nuts. I mean, there'll be so much crime going on. It'll be complete chaos. To know that there's no group out there to get it under control. So no, let's not defund the police. You could think the gun is always the answer, but it's not. And thinking that, the use of the gun is always the answer, that's stupid. That shows that whoever agrees with it is very low educated, and probably needs to get some schooling. Because that's ridiculous. Now, with this article, there is a group called the Australian Deplorable. When are you reporting on the phone call? Asking for a friend. I'm not 100% sure what that is. This gentleman by the name of David, who appears, I guess he looks like he was a veteran. He says, wrong. Seriously, defund the police is a dead-end street. You took a hard left instead of going right back at the last intersection. I'm not 100% sure what he means by that. Let's go to another comment. A woman by the name of Carol says, the term defund should never have been used. It should be reform and retrain the police. And I agree. Here's a comment I can get behind. Carol, she's got it right. Absolutely correct. The term defund should never have been used. It should be reform and retrain the police, not defund them. Yes, because I believe there's a lot of police officers who weren't trained or counseled or taught how to do things properly. And, you know, that could have made a big difference in a lot of these outcomes, a lot of these incidences throughout the country. You know, I believe this could have made a big difference. So yeah, let's teach the police officers how to do things differently. Let's retrain them and reform them, and to make sure that they do things the right way. Still be aggressive against some hostile situations, but also learn how to counsel better, learn how to read people who are autistic better, learn to read a situation better, knock the racism out of your mouth. You know, make sure you have no hint of racism in you or biased in you. Try to treat everybody fairly, but still go by the guidelines that all police officers had to meet. You know, make sure you get the situation under control. So, yes, I agree, Carol. The term defund should never have been used. It's not appropriate. It should be reformed and retrain the police. So, absolutely. So, all right. So, I'll usually do 3 of these articles. And so this last but not least article is on WMUR News 9's Facebook page, which those who do not know or are not familiar with who WMUR News 9 is. For those who live here in the Granite State in New Hampshire, it's our local news source. It's where we get a lot of our local news from and some of our national news from. It's our main news source here in the state of New Hampshire. So, but on WMURnews9.com, there's an article that was posted yesterday morning. And it has to do with the payment app called Venmo. For those who use Venmo, pay attention here. It says Better Business Bureau warns of Venmo fake friend scam. And it says on top here, it says that person may not really be your friend at all. So, I just like to see what this is at. And there's no comment underneath. It just grabbed my attention. I didn't see a comment underneath or a question. So, but I use Venmo for various things. So it says, here in the article, from yesterday, it says the next time you send your friend money on Venmo, you may not want to click send too fast. According to the Better Business Bureau, that person may not really be your friend at all. Quote here says, we're so quick to help and not check. But take a moment, take a breath, said David Wheeler. Wheeler is the vice president of the Better Business Bureau, and in Central Florida. It's located in Central Florida. So, and he said that there has been an uptick in fake friend scamming real people on Venmo by asking for money. He said scammers are impersonating real accounts by grabbing people's photos and changing the username a bit, which I can see that. Look at the name closely, Wheeler said. Make sure if it's missing like a letter or a number attached to it, it's probably somebody that has stolen someone else's identity on that Cash App. And if you want to be real, careful to not send money them anyway. Yeah, I like to try to be careful, when I send money to anybody. If I send money to a friend, or if I see a friend that's asking for money, I'm kind of thinking the situation, do I owe them money, or is there a reason why they would need money? Are they well off? I always confirm and concur with my friends on Facebook and, on their personal texts and such and whatnot. But yeah, it's always good to make sure, to safely check up and down all the details before sending money anywhere, on any app, on anything. Because there are some very desperate scammers who can't get a real job, apparently, who are desperate and have nothing else better to do but to try to scam people out of money, which they will be caught and they'll be prosecuted, I believe, under federal law. I think it's a federal offense if you if you pirate stuff, but also if you scam, if you host a scam and you become a scam artist and you're convicted. So, if I'm guilty of especially if it's like money that's over $1,000, but definitely anyway. So yes, be careful when you send money. But like I said, there was no comments underneath, so I'm gonna try another article real quick. And this actually I found one right here. Actually, right here sounds good. So. But definitely want to check another article and stuff. But it says here on WMUR News 9, that was posted yesterday morning. It says wife of civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson returns home after hospitalization for COVID-19. It has to do with COVID, of course. It says Jesse Jackson is still at rehab facility, his family said in a statement. And I take it if they weren't fully vaccinated, they were. There's a picture of Jesse Jackson being vaccinated. I don't know if he was fully vaccinated. But, whether you're vaccinated or not, the only thing I can say is that if you're elderly, if you're over the age of 60, be careful. Check with your doctor first. Make sure, you should be protected. You should. But the symptoms from the vaccine could make you believe that it is serious. But it probably could just be the symptoms, normal symptoms you get from the shot. But I'm glad that she returned home safely. I hope she continues to be safe and good. And I wish the best of the family. And I hope Reverend Jesse Jackson, returns safely and is good and okay and all. And but to keep that in mind with the shot. But underneath it says by a gentleman by the name of Kurt, says only the good die young. That's why Jesse will live forever. So what a nice comment. What a nice comment to say. That's nice from him to say. So, but yeah, the shot can have some side effects, and could make you believe that. I know recently the governor of New Hampshire, our governor in the state of New Hampshire, Governor Chris Sununu, was recently admitted to the hospital because he had flu-like symptoms, which I think is smart because it was flu-like symptoms, which is could correlate with COVID potentially. But I think also, people shouldn't panic, or you shouldn't panic. Nobody should panic, because you know what else it could be? The flu. So yes, I don't think many people should panic, because it could be COVID. It could be, it's possible, but it also could be the flu, or it could be the cold, or it could be just allergies. You see, that's the thing about flu-like symptoms. It could be literally anything. There's so many things that it could be. So when people are like, oh, he got admitted to the hospital, he definitely has COVID, he's got COVID. No, relax. It could be something different. It could be the flu, a cold, allergies, anything. So don't be too quick to jump to conclusions or be too sensitive to it. Relax. So, all right, well, that concludes the Headhunt segment. Again, if you have any questions or comments about anything that has been said on this episode or pertains to anything on previous episodes, feel free to reach out on both our Facebook and Twitter, which is facebook.com/Courtesy Call Podcast, and Twitter, which is at Courtesy Call for you. That's the @ symbol, Courtesy Call, the number 4, and an uppercase letter U. And let me know any questions or comments that you have, and I'll address them on the next episode, which will be episode 30, which will be a week from today. Episode 31. Episode 31, which will be a week from today, which will be Sunday, September 12th. So, that. Anyway, still hope you guys are sitting in there. Hope you guys are still hanging tight. I know some of you are probably still enjoying your Labor Day weekend festivities. By the way, anybody following the Red Sox lately? I kind of want to throw this in there real quick before I get to the last segment. Sox doing very well, for those who care. Hockey season's on the prowl. I cannot wait. I got tickets already for the Bruins. I'm looking forward to that. And I'll be going to a lot of hockey games this season. UNH and some ECHL, minor league type hockey stuff. And then definitely some Bruins games. But for the meantime, it's baseball. Just wrapping up with the Red Sox. Red Sox won last night against Cleveland, so they're doing very well. They also won last Friday. I'll be going to the game on Wednesday because their next game set is with the Tampa. They bring Tampa home. Tampa comes to Fenway. They go against Tampa for 3 game set. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I'll be at Wednesday's game with a buddy of mine at Fenway. We have pretty good seats. Can't wait. Looking forward to that. So for baseball fanatics, let's keep rooting for them Red Sox, huh? Playoffs are around the corner. So looking forward to that. So, and I just want to throw that out there. So, all right. So now it's time for the 2 societal topics of my choice. And this is where I take a gander at what's going on in society and the issues that are going on within today's society. And I pick 2 issues that turn into topics that I address on this episode that I feel need to be discussed at this point in time. So that need to be discussed or reestablished, or some of these are topics that I've discussed in previous episodes that I bring up again because it's still an issue and it needs that much attention. Still, I don't think like a couple episodes or a few episodes are going to change, but I think after several episodes and a lot of people listening to this episode and passing it on with the word of mouth, I think that this could be, it could help. It could help society, wake up society, and take note on what's going on. So, without further ado, so actually, before I get into this first one, I do want to give a little bit of a recap. Driving is still horrible. People are still not using their directionals, still not looking where they turn. Driving, 20 to 30 miles an hour over the speed limit, and not even having any courtesy on the roads. So, if you could change that, maybe, be safe on the roads, signal within 100 feet before you turn, or if you signal at least, 20 to 50 feet before you merge, that would be fantastic. Okay. That'd be fantastic to be considerate on the roads of people's safety. So, parenting is still being terrible. Parents are giving in to their children. Their children are demanding and throwing temper tantrums, and opposed to disciplining your child for throwing temper tantrums and misbehaving. They're rewarding them. You should be disciplining them. Your children are, how your children turn out, when they grow up and become, when they're in their teens and when they become adults and into their successes, that's all going to reflect on you. Now, how they turn out when they grow up is going to be, all on you, because you're the ultimate parent that guides them to that and teaches them to become better people. And if you're not going to teach them much of anything, then that's on you. So, that's the truth. So what else? People still acting ridiculous. People acting like babies, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But anyway, so this is the first topic. So the first of the 2 societal topics on my choice. This one is one I've discussed before many, many times in a dieting segment that I did. I think it was episode 8 or 9. I think episode 8 or 9 had dieting in it. I think it was that. So it was like in the earlier episode, like several months ago. But yeah, so I discussed this part in a segment about dieting, and I still think it needs more attention. I think that people need to be more disciplined. Speaking of discipline, I think people need to be strict with themselves and need some friends to look after them as a sponsor or support of this issue. It's not drugs. It's not alcohol. It's another addiction problem, and it's an addiction to food. This segment is about being overweight. Now, to add a disclaimer, I'm going to be very blunt here. I'm going to be straight to the point. And if you don't like it, I apologize. But it just needs to be said, because sometimes the things that need to be said and are the most constructive and are the most truthful are not the most subtle. So this is about being overweight. Now, like I said, I talked about this numerous times during, topics of dieting and other things in several episodes ago. But yes, people being overweight. It has been an ongoing struggle out there, much like the issues with people on the road. This is an issue that has also gotten out of control and needs to be handled and dealt with. Look, we all love food, right? I love food. We're all foodies. I love different kinds of foods. I like traveling to different restaurants and trying new things that they have on their menus, okay? We all desire some of the great food items out there. We all love it. I've stated on here many, many times, like, again, I am a bit of a foodie. and a big fan of, well, to be specific, pizza and ice cream. I absolutely love the stuff. I can't get enough of the stuff. It's they're my favorite. They're my favorite foods. But yes, we all love that kind of stuff. And some of us like other foods as well. You know, we like burgers, barbecue, a variety of Italian foods, and some even Greek. I love Greek food. I think the spanakopita is a very good dish, a very good pastry, very good lunch pastry or dinner. I prefer it. But a lot of us, you know, love some great baked goods as well, right? I talked about Clem's donuts. I love donuts. I'm a big fan of donuts. So I'm a big fan of that as well. So yeah, but we tend to go a little overboard and eat more than we should. We tend to turn that one or two slices of pizza into a whole pie, or a couple of donuts into a baker's dozen, or we turn that, you know, a couple scoops of ice cream into like 3 sundaes. Maybe being a little bit dramatic here, but you get the point. We go a little overboard, and it's getting a little out of hand. And I believe that it's, you know, a lot of it is due to a lack of discipline or self-control. But we don't seem to care. We don't seem to care most of the time. We don't want to hear all the negativity or hear all the constructive criticism. It's I guess this is you can consider as part of the My Body, My Choice movement in a way, if you think about it. My body, my choice. I'll do whatever I want my body. I want to gain a lot of weight, I'll do it. If I want to eat all this, you know, pizza or all this ice cream, I'm making it such a positive thing to be like, yeah, I'm going to eat all this food. Yeah. Thanks, Adam Richman. Man vs. Food. If you ever watched the show, if you ever not watched an episode, go watch an episode. You see what I'm talking about. But people become big fans of just saying, I'm going to scarf down a whole pizza or a whole thing of ice cream or all these burgers or barbecue. Yeah, it's a positive, awesome thing. You know, it's like giving props or creds, as you call it. You know, giving people credibility for doing that when it's really just sad. But yeah, I believe it seems like it's a My Body, My Choice kind of movement. It's part of the My Body, My Choice movement, which is difficult to not want to argue. I really would love to, you know, and I am right now. I am going to do it. I'm going to add my 2 cents worth. That's what the purpose of the segment is. You know, most of us are foodies. But why is it harder for others to discipline themselves than others? Well, some of the reason has to do with the way some people were raised, how they're brought up, how the parenting was, how good were the parents. But it turns out that there is another reason for overeating, other than just, you know, loving the food and poor parenting. It's also stress. Stress. We all know that. Stress can add to our need to eat more food. You know, there are some people out there who experience lots of stress. I know I do. You know, a lot of people experience stress monthly, yearly. A lot of people experience it like on the daily. Most experience it on the daily, right? It's an everyday thing. And it correlates with overeating. It absolutely does. So what happens is, you know, stress arouses the body's cortisol levels, right? Which then stimulates your metabolism. That shakes up your fats and carb levels, and it sends messages and sends a surge of energy to your body, you know, which causes elevated appetite, which then sends messages to your brain that you need or desire sweets and fats and carbs, and you must consume large amounts of it. This can vary from each person, from person to person, and you know, I think that, you know, most of it. It promotes the desire to overeat, and we find this, a comfort outlet to stimulate our minds through food. It says that arouses our endorphins and makes us joyful and happy by eating certain foods. But, you know, there's another factor that is almost beyond our control, and that is our metabolism, right? The chemical system within our body that promotes a healthy digestive system to break down foods we eat to give us nutrients to keep us alive, right? Our metabolism, and metabolism is a big factor as well, whether we, how sufficient we break down these fats and carbs. And so that's a big factor. I mean, you see what happens is from preschool to adolescent, okay? This is what happens. From preschool to adolescent and throughout our 20s, our metabolism is at its, as you could say, peak, And you're scarfing down food, everything you see in sight, every food you see in sight, you're scarfing down your system. And raiding restaurants, refrigerators, and cupboards within your household or your friends' households, and barely gaining a pound, right? Because you have a high metabolism. It's at its peak. But when we get older, meaning in our 30s and 40s and so on, our metabolism starts to slow down and doesn't process food as fast and sufficient as it once did. And eating large amounts of food can be costly in a sense that gaining weight will become a lot easier and health problems to occur over time. This is why it's essential for those from mid-age adults to seniors to engage in physical activity such as recreational sports and fitness regimens to keep the body in shape and not keep the weight on. And also to diet so not much weight is put on, right? Although these things do possess some challenges, these are highly doable and are very healthy for the body, mind, and soul. But not many people want to do these things because of the stresses. And yes, you guessed it, lack of discipline. There's no desire to exercise and get into shape because of the level of comfort that a lot of people who are overweight have. Now, thanks to those anti-fat shamers in the media, throughout the media that promote being overweight, is good and you should be overweight and it's your choice and don't let people tell you otherwise. It's hard for anyone overweight to feel any guilt because they're told that it's okay and it's fine and to ignore people who are giving constructive criticism. There are times where I'm sorry, but there are times where people just need to be told what they're doing is wrong. It just needs to happen. Now, I don't believe in exactly fat shaming, more like, I believe more like constructive criticism. And I know we live in a very sensitive society. So our society is very sensitive. I talked about this many, many times. We're very, very sensitive today. And I'm not trying to strike a nerve, but damn, this has been getting way out of control. People getting overweight has been way out of control. And some may ask, why does it matter to me so much? Why does it matter so much in general, whether someone's overweight or not? How does them being overweight affect everyone else? Well, the answer is because you are being overweight, you gain health problems and have to deal with the inconveniences with that in public, the laziness that comes with being morbidly obese or being obese in general, and not much gets done in society and with jobs and work. I have coworkers who are overweight who don't work sufficiently because they're massively overweight. I have some coworkers that don't do what they need to do because they're so overweight they don't have the energy and they're way too lazy. And I know people are overweight that can't work sufficiently, and I have to take care of their responsibilities because they can't take care of their own because they're overweight. It's unattractive, but most importantly, it's like I said, it's just disgusting to see excess of fat pouring off someone's body. It's unattractive. And I understand abuse in the eye of the beholder, but come on, self-respect. I mean, damn. I was on social media the other day and saw a picture of a morbidly obese woman wearing a bikini. Yeah. On Facebook, a morbidly obese, she had to be in like 400 or 500 pounds, wearing a damn bikini. I almost regurgitated all over my computer. It was completely disgusting. And I understand that, fat or large women, they accept people more. They're more giving. They're more nicer. They have better personality. That's right, but they also need to take care of themselves. There's people who are in shape or have a little bit of chub that are nice, are caring and giving. So it shouldn't be just that. There's the fact of people just being overweight and lacking, discipline. That should be a big red flag. But this woman who was overweight, she was like 400 or 500 pounds wearing a bikini on social media. It was disgusting. It was gross. She reminded me of the morbidly obese woman in the movie Good Luck Chuck. If you've seen the movie Good Luck Chuck, she's the one that he had to, have sexual relations with to definitely prove that the theory that he gives good luck is real. So, to test it out. But yeah, she reminded me of this woman. A complete eyesore. And I'm thinking, why? Why would you do that? I am sorry, but that is completely unacceptable. You should not wear certain clothing if you are at a certain weight level. I am sorry, ladies, but and this goes for the gentlemen as well. If you are overweight, you do not need to wear clothing that reveals it all. You are not reinventing the wheel or being inspiring. You are just making many of us sick to our stomachs and embarrassing yourselves and thinking, where is this person's discipline and what is wrong with this person? And it just tells many of us that you embrace laziness and shy away from a challenge. You don't like challenges. You're too weak for challenges. You're not that tough at all. Yes, you losing weight can be very challenging. However, you're not going to get much done about it by being weak. Be strong. Bring a positive energy towards losing weight. Now I'm not saying that you have to be completely skinny or in shape to be acceptable. I want to make that clear right now. I want to make that very clear. But you don't have to be 100% skinny, as it's very difficult to do that as you get older. Your BMI doesn't have to be right down the line. Having some chub is fine. Having some little cushion is not bad. It's actually very desirable for many men and women. They enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with a little junk in the trunk, as they say, or having a little on top to work with, if you get what I mean. I'm just saying that it's not okay to be massively overweight, okay? Your body mass index should be between 18 to 24. That's fine. 18 to 24, that's average. That's good. That's good. It should be between 18 and 24, not 30 plus, or anything over 30. Anything over 30 is way too much, is considered being morbidly obese. These are people I'm referring to. And I am aware that some have health issues that inflict weight gain. I get that. And I know it's beyond your control. And you have my sympathy. You have my sympathy. And I'm not aiming this at you if you have, some health issues. And you do have my sympathy, absolutely. But not everyone has a condition to where they need to be lazy and be fat and be overly weight. Get up, get off your behinds, exercise, take it day by day, take as much as you can handle every day. You shouldn't be, you don't have to run miles and miles right off the bat. You start off slow, you start off as much as you can handle, and do that every day. The strong part is if you continue to do it every day. You don't go overboard, but if you're willing to match what you can handle every day, and then lose a little bit of weight every time and diet properly, that is what shows strength. That's what makes you strong. And as the strength you should be displaying every day. So. All right. So now the second and last societal topic of my choice for the episode is something I've also discussed. It's another topic I have discussed in previous episodes. And I'm going to go into it again because of how much of an issue this really is, especially for the well-being of our society. This topic is about, and I've hinted at it about a couple times, like 2 or 3 times throughout this episode, but it is about maturity and immaturity. Okay? This topic is about maturity and immaturity. When I was in my youth, people acted inappropriate, displayed irresponsible behaviors, and had a point in time where they were wild. Okay? But they eventually grew up. That's the thing. They eventually grew up, put their adult pants on, and did what they needed to do to take responsibility and get the job done and be responsible adults. There was also a level of understanding back then when I was a kid, when I was in my youth, and good social ethics amongst one another, good sociability and social skills, one-on-one social skills, not online, but face-to-face, physical one-on-one skills, social skills. And when you were in your teens, when I was in my teens, it was expected that you would get most, if not all, of your nonsense out of your system. And by the time you were 18 to 20 years of age, you would go to college, you would get an education, graduate, find a partner, a love partner, right? And get married, buy a house, settle down, raise your family in that house. Ah, yes. Known as the American dream. Today, people are completely out of control with their actions and beliefs and philosophy to where it is damaging society minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day, so on and so on. The immaturity continues past their teens and through their entire 20s. Yeah, 22, 25, 28-year-olds. To where they just start growing up a little bit into their 30s. It's crazy. I see people in their mid to late 20s online sharing their favorite video game choices rather than what's going on with their work or with their family activities. I see people in their 30s acting like they are 15 by throwing immature insults and comments and starting fights over small things online and the tiniest issues on social media. Living with their parents, some of these people in their late 20s and early 30s are living with their parents and complaining that they have to work all the time. I mean, it's one thing if you do it once in a while, but every day is a bit much. I get it. Work can be tiring, Work can be exhausting, but working is part of being an adult. And I mean, I will take complaining over and whining over work. Yes. I'll take complaining over whining any day because so many people whine today. And I personally can't stand whining over certain things. It's one thing to complain and to address something in constructive criticism manner, but it's another thing just to complain out downright, just whine. People are also skipping work, and parents are just going out partying numerous nights out of the week, opposed to staying home and taking care of their children. And I mean children like 5-year-olds, like to preteen to teenagers, so some age of teenagers. Yes, parents need some time to have fun too, but almost every day is unacceptable. These are all parts of lacking maturity or being immature. This is usually due to multiple things. Growing up with a poor childhood, experiencing large amounts of physical and mental abuse, and not being disciplined properly while growing up. While in a dispute, people today rather argue than actually sit back and think if they possibly could be wrong or not. They lack the maturity to take in consideration if they possibly could be wrong. This could be from either one of two things. One, being underprivileged, or two, being overprivileged during their youth. Someone who is underprivileged usually grows up without having much things to their name, and don't have many positive experiences. This could be due to their parents being very poor parents or guardians, or had interest in making sure their child had things of interest and experiences they would cherish. Someone who is overprivileged is the one who we label as the golden spoon-fed. Someone who grows up with too much belongings and endowed with materials and experiences to where they are blinded to see the organic values in life. They weren't influenced to give a care, to think that they could be wrong about anything, or that they should share values with other people, and to care about other people of their own values and materials. They're blinded. The underprivileged person doesn't want to own up or his or her mistakes and take in consideration that they could be wrong because they have been wronged too many times. And they have taken a beating from life to where admitting their own mistakes seems too painful to handle. And that there is a big judgment on them because they care too much about what other people think, because they judge their own values based on what they have rather than how they are as a person. Now, the overprivileged person doesn't want to admit that they could be wrong because they feel they don't need to, because they are higher value than everybody else they think. They shouldn't have to admit their mistakes to a person lower in value than them, or in their eyes, lower than them. If they were to admit a mistake to anyone, it would be a very low number of people that actually respect and look up to, like their parents or an ambassador or a professor or even some mentor or coach, because that's the only people or person who they can see being wrong towards in their eyes. There are some times where this isn't always the case. Sometimes you have people who are underprivileged and overprivileged admitting their mistakes and being respectful to those who are either more or less than them because they're not that biased. And they understand what life's all about, and they understand accepting people for who they are. So, yes, admitting your mistakes, admitting your wrongs and your faults is part of maturity. And people are just handling like stresses like they'd never encountered stress before. People are sending more nudes of themselves online, more naked pictures of themselves because they want more attention. It's all about attention. It's all about money and attention. And if they don't get it, they're going to skyrocket. They're going to go off the deep end, which that's a sign of lack of maturity. You have people who are ranting about random things online that are sharing their own personal issues to everybody in form of attention and not in form to seek help. You got a lot of people who rather make fun of someone rather than correcting their own mistakes. Like if somebody is bringing them constructive criticism about what they're doing wrong and how it's harming things, they rather make fun of that person and, try to ignore the constructive criticism rather than face the music. That's part of lacking maturity. So, and also lacking maturity is to put the blame on other people and not look at themselves and have the maturity to be like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. Because if you take the time to do a self-examination and see that you're wrong and see that you're completely wrong about some things and own up to it and look to change it and look to better yourself, then, then you can grow. Then society will be better. If not necessarily everybody, but if most people in this world were to do a self-evaluation and be honest with themselves, are they doing this wrong? Are they giving out this wrong energy, this wrong message? Did they say the wrong thing, do the wrong thing, project the wrong message to people? Then, and then say, you know what? I need to own up to it. I need to fix it and correct it. It's more than just owning it. It's also correcting it and making sure you don't display that again. That makes a big difference. That makes such a huge difference with society, and society will be much better. And, maturity helps society better. You can have fun. We all have our times we just talk about immature stuff. Sometimes we do immature stuff or we experience immature things and we get a jolly off from it. It's about moderation. If you do it just a short amount of time or a certain percentage of time, but majority of the time be mature during the times we really need to be mature and need to own up to our mistakes. And then, that, I think that will make things a lot better. So that's just my opinion. All right. Well, that is the end of the societal topics of my choice. And we have reached the end of the episode. That's right. We're at the end of the episode. I want to thank IPMNation.com's president and CEO, Matt Connerton, for giving us a spot. And, of course, I want to thank all of you listeners for tuning in. Be sure to tune in to next week on episode 31, where we will discuss more about this whole mess in Afghanistan. More developments on what's going on in Florida. We're always going to talk about Florida. There's always some nonsense coming from that state. More updates on COVID-19, the vaccinations, as well as a new Headhunt segment, and 2 more societal topics of my choice. That'll be episode 31, which will be available for download next week, Sunday, September 12th, 2021, at 10 a.m. on IPMNation.com. So, also feel free to check out Matt Carnerton's Matt Carnerton Unleashed, weekdays at 4 p.m. on 95.3 WMNH, and right here on IPMNation.com. All right. On behalf of Courtesy Call Podcast, I am your host, Scott Perry. Be kind, be mindful, and do your part. Take care, everybody. Happy Labor Day. Bye-bye.